All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 61. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How's it going, Dory?
Hello. I would just like to everyone know that I'm hanging radical and being totally cool by playing the new Tony Hawk game. Also, summer camp continues to kick my ass, so just completely tanned over. But yeah, this is going to be a shorter episode. We're going to talk about the Ghost of Yotei preview, state of play. That's what it's called. Seb is going to talk about Stellar Blade, and I'm going to talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. So that's what we got on the menu for today, and it'll be pretty exciting. I'm really excited for Ghost of Yotei, and I've been enjoying Tony Hawk, and a lot of the problems I had with Stellar Blade, Seb is also going to talk about, so I'm looking forward to talking about it all.
All right, let's start with the Ghost of Yotei state of play. So, as we've said before, the game comes out on October 2nd this year. It's exclusive to PS5, and it features a new protagonist named Atsu, and she's a vengeful mercenary who is avenging her family's massacre. It's not a samurai game if you're not avenging somebody and going after people. All right, so obviously this game is a open world game. It is it's very player driven, just like the first game was, Ghost of Tsushima. But in this game, you use a spyglass and to pick your own path, and you use that to uncover hidden areas and campsites and side activities. What did you think of that? What did you think of the open world focus? Do you like this kind of gameplay where it's kind of like figure it out, or do you like your hand a little more held? Like, how do you feel generally?
Yeah, I mean, I generally like my hand a little more held than that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it would be pretty easy to spot things. And so I'm not too upset about it. I would need to see it for myself in terms of how it feels to find things manually like that. But I don't think it'll be too bad. I imagine they'll make it pretty intuitive to find a given location and to be able to go to the next story beat and so on. But yeah, generally I prefer it to be a little more streamlined than that. And, you know, in general, I'm more mixed on open worlds, I think, than some other folks are. But I loved Ghost of Tsushima, so I think that I'll be just fine here.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with the first game, the way they did it, because the first game was kind of like that too. It wasn't like, here's a waypoint, figure it out. It was, you had to like use the wind and stuff like that. But everything was easy to find, and even if worst case scenario you couldn't find things, you just look it up on Google, and people had the maps of the game, and you could just follow guides and stuff. So it's really not a huge deal in my opinion. But it doesn't surprise me they did it again. Now this game is gonna have a lot of stuff on the map like the first game was, and I thought the first game had a lot of cool stuff, but at the same time I did think there was a lot of stuff on the map. It did feel Ubisoft-esque in the sense that there was a lot of stuff on the map, and I would say for me that was one of the weaker parts of the first game. Was it felt like an Ubisoft game in terms of like all the content, and the content was it was starting to get repetitive. It was like it was just here's a haiku, here's a find a fox, find this. Did you think that same, or like did you have no problem?
I didn't find that as much. I totally understand where you're coming from. Like if I think about remake Retrograde or whatever the fuck it was, the second remake for Final Fantasy Rebirth. Too many R's. Yeah, with Square Enix. Yeah. Rebirth, remake, anyway. Yeah, I did not like the gameplay, the open world activities as much there, and they felt very repetitive. But for Ghost of Tsushima, I don't remember feeling that way. I always really enjoyed making a haiku. I always enjoyed being able to like just sit and relax after killing 1,000 people with my blade. It felt pretty well balanced to me. I'm not going to say all of the activities were a winner. Like I remember the sword chopping mini game. I didn't care for that. Yeah. I didn't think it was great. But generally speaking, the haikus were super fun. I mean, I just love haikus in general, and I love poetry and stuff. I've written many poems myself, so I'm a bit of a mark for that. But in general, I don't remember finding it repetitive. But it was also 5 years ago, so anything I found repetitive is probably washed away in the overall feeling of
yeah.
I remember loving that game.
I think it's because I got the platinum. So to get the platinum, I had to do every single thing on
Right.
the map, and I feel like it started to
Yeah.
get repetitive after a while.
Yeah, no, fuck that. Yeah, so no, now that you add that context, I totally understand what you mean. Yeah, if I was getting the platinum, I also would have probably found it repetitive, but you know me, I almost never go for platinums unless I'm super obsessed with the game. I mean, hell, even Kingdom Hearts 2, I don't think I have the platinum in, just because some of those missions are just incredibly aggravating, and I just don't care about them. But I totally get what you mean. I'm hoping they do a little better with streamlining it. I have platinum games before, like Miles Morales, but generally speaking, it's not something I go for.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, it was still a really fun game, and it was a top 10 game for me, and I had a blast playing it. But the side content definitely got repetitive. All right, moving on to the diverse arsenal in this game. So Atsu, she can wield multiple weapons. She has katanas that she can use one katana, or she can even dual wield katanas. A spear. I can never pronounce this word. Kusarigama. The chain blade, basically, and
yeah, I know what you mean.
And the Odachi, and you can, and it's suited for each combo styles and enemies, so you can mix it up. And I think that was one of the coolest parts. I thought, especially the dual wielding. That's probably what I would do.
Yes, same.
I'm always been a sword person.
I really like this. Yeah. I also want to say that because she's a mercenary, we're not going to have to do that whole fucking annoying kind of storyline of like, well, it's not honorable to do this or that, and so I don't know if I should do ghostly activities or not. At the beginning, she's like, fuck you, I'm a mercenary, I'll do whatever I want, I'll use the sneakiest, dirtiest methods possible, this is life or death, I don't give a shit about morals. And like, that's the right attitude to have. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying like that is the attitude you'd probably want to have. And I'm super excited to be playing a character that's very different from Jin, very not rooted in his morality or tradition, but instead she's a mercenary. She wants to get paid. She's on a quest for vengeance, of course, so that's a big part of it too. So it's very exciting. I think what they're doing here, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what they're doing here is that they are, instead of having multiple styles or stances that you switch between, it's you're using different weapons. And I don't know how I feel about that, but that seems to be what they're doing here. Because I can't imagine every single one of these weapons having 3 different stances. That would feel like overkill. Now, maybe that is what they're doing, but it didn't seem like when they were doing the gameplay that I saw a bunch of stances. It seemed like they all just had a default stance. But again, I could be wrong, and this is just a trailer.
Well, I'm watching the state of play as you're talking, and I don't see the UI in the combat. Like, there's no UI, so I can't tell if they're using stances or not. But
the only thing I could see was the key or the yellow orbs. I forget what they're called. Yeah, and the health, and that's it.
But it does seem like
you're right.
It does seem like she's holding the weapons different ways, though. So they do like different stances. So it is possible there is different stances.
Okay.
Let's see. There's.
I think that's a bit too much. If you've got this many, like you've got a spear, you've got an odachi, you've got dual wielding, you've got a classic sword. I think. Let's see. I think I already said a spear, but yeah, you've got a lot of different weapons. So I don't know how I feel about that, but hopefully it doesn't get overwhelming. Maybe it'll be really intuitive and I'm overthinking it. I also thought they wouldn't have stances because they're kind of going for a rock, paper, scissors system. Yeah. Because like when you're dealing with a big enemy, they say you should be using the gigantic odachi. Yeah. But if you're dealing with certain other, you should be using the spear or using the dual wielding. Dual wielding looks so fucking cool. That's definitely going to be my swords of choice or my weapons of choice.
Same. I mean, I'm leaning on no because I just don't see stances in the UI. So
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else? So, this says You swing and fight. You can counter your enemies, and you can even disarm them in this game. The combat looks pretty much the same. I think. I don't see a huge difference. From the first
No,
game.
I didn't either.
It's just the difference was just using different weapons. Cause the first game was all about him being a samurai, or like a ninja samurai, and the honor and using your sword and things like that. But this game is like mercenary and use any weapon you can to kill anyone. Like it's just like everything's free for all. All right. There's also an interrogation based quest system in this game. So instead of a traditional quest log, you gather information by questioning NPCs, and you unlock quests and rewards via a clue card UI. This sounds pretty cool. In in actual gameplay, though, I wonder if this gets tedious or not. And I'd imagine people are going to use a guide and stuff anyway. So I'm not sure on this mode personally, on this system. I mean, but it sounds cool, right? Kind of like Batman. You beat up an enemy and get information from them. That's what it reminded me of. What do you think of that?
It was interesting. It's another one where I need to see exactly how this is going to play out instead of just seeing it from a trailer like this. But I mean, it's a neat idea, and I appreciate them trying to streamline things. I'm not sure how effective it's going to be. Also, I can't say I've ever seen this in a game before, where you kind of go by character to character and track objectives that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're right. People are going to probably use guides anyway. I'm probably going to use guides. I definitely want to talk about the long range weapons and the graphics when we get a chance too, because
yeah,
I don't think we covered that in the notes.
We will.
Okay.
Another cool thing was the costumes. I thought they looked pretty cool. They looked very different and unique in the colors. And then obviously, of course, the graphics of this game look amazing. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was visually stunning, right? Like on a base PS4. And then the PS5 remastered that they did, the $10 upgrade one, looked phenomenal as well. So it doesn't surprise me this game is beautiful. And obviously when this game comes out on PC in like 2 years, it will look even more beautiful. What'd you think of the visuals and the colors and everything like that? I mean, obviously it's pretty. So
yeah, I was watching this. I was like, this is disgusting, sickening. How gorgeous of a game do you fucking need to make? You know what I mean? Like this is. I thought the first game was gorgeous. Like this is absolutely ridiculous in like an affectionate way. Like how the hell does this game look so good? Like the colors, the atmosphere, like moving through the lands and stuff like that. The colors and the balance of everything. It just looks so good. The flowers, the effects. I could go on and on. It just looks incredible. So I'm very excited to be experiencing this. It's exclusively for PlayStation, so it'll look great and hold up great on my PS5, I'm sure. Yeah. So I also noticed that for exploration, you still have the little grappling hook and a little bit of parkour, not parkour, but you know what I mean. You know, the climbing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It looks like you also still have the skill trees, but I think that they have maybe streamlined it a little bit by putting everything under a family of attacks, assassination, or survival. Yeah. But I could be wrong about that because there's multiple icons on the left, including a sword, a samurai, a mask, and a couple other things I can't really make out. So I'm not sure exactly how much they've streamlined it, but like, for example, like the large pagoda section at around like 6.5 minutes when you're exploring is just crazy beautiful. Like the golden looks so good. Everything's like this looks like a movie. If I didn't know, if the PlayStation logo wasn't prominently in the bottom right and I didn't already know this was a video game, I think I'd probably do a double take. And I was like, is this a movie? This looks really good.
It doesn't feel like it's been 5 years since the first game.
Yeah.
But that was actually the very first game we ever talked about on a podcast. That was
it adds up. That was 2020, right?
Yep. It was like right during COVID. It was like a month after Last of Us Part 2. It was a crazy month. Crazy summer. for PlayStation.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. What else
yeah,
did you want? What else did you want to talk about besides the
Oh,
graphics?
I just wanted to briefly talk about I'm also watching the state of play. That's why I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a 20-minute showcase, so there's so much to go into. But one thing I want to mention before we start, probably wrapping up soon, is the long range weapons. So you had a bow in the first game, so that's nothing new. But here, because it's 100 years later, it looks like firearms have started taking off in Japan. So you also can shoot with a long range musket or something like that. I presume it has limited ammo, but it probably packs a big punch. So that's exciting too. I didn't expect to see a rifle, but I guess I should have since it's 100 years later, right?
Is it 100 years later?
I thought that was the lore, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was.
It was about 100.
I thought it was like wasn't it the 1800s? This one, like 300 years later or something.
Oh, maybe it's 300. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's in the hundreds for sure.
Or is it? No, wait, no. 1603. It's in the 1600s. So Ghost of Tsushima take place.
Yes, you're right.
1300s.
You're right. It is 300 years after the events of Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Yotei is set in 1603. Tsushima is set in 1274.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah.
So
I was wrong in terms of I thought it was in maybe the 1800s or something. But it makes sense that it's not. So yeah, they're I think Assassin's Creed did that too with the firearms as well. Or maybe I'm misremembering. No, yeah, I think there was. Anyway, yeah, that was cool too. But me, I'm gonna be purely a samurai. I like being the walk in and just have one katana and just take on the whole town instead of stealth.
That's right. I remember this. Yeah, because you and I have totally different methods. I love to be the assassin. I love to go in quietly, take as many people down, and then when everybody finally realizes I'm there, which probably doesn't take too long because I'm not great at stealth, I'm like, all right, bring it on, motherfuckers, and that's when I bring out my sword. But yeah, so that I remember us having that. I think vaguely remember us having that conversation back when Ghost of Tsushima came out, because I don't remember how Mitch and James played, but yeah, that was a key difference between you and I is you were kicking down doors and you were like, surprise, motherfucker.
I challenged him at the front gate. Yeah.
That's right. So I wonder if you can still do that, but since she's a mercenary, I mean, there's no set style for a mercenary, right? That's kind of part of their job.
Right.
So anyway, what else do we want to talk about?
So they also presented 3 different modes in the game.
Yes.
So they have the Kurosawa mode, which is the classic black and white cinematic mode with the Japanese voiceovers. They had that in the first game as well. And that's obviously the most authentic Japanese samurai experience if you want to play that. I personally would rather play the game first in English, beat the game, and then maybe go back and do that. But play however you want. All right, I think is that Mike? I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Meek mode or Mike mode? But either way, it's a grittier, more close.
Mike. I believe it's Mike.
Mike. Okay, so it's a grittier, close-up action with blood and like mud intensity. So it's really close and bloody and stuff like that. It's just gritty. And then you have the Watanabe mode, which is the relaxed lo-fi music atmosphere for exploration. So you get to basically listen to lo-fi hip-hop while you're playing the game. So that was cool. And but the main thing with Kurosawa is it's culturally authentic. So if that's what you they had a Japanese heritage advisors, Sakura Punch did. So if you want the most authentic samurai Japanese experience, then Kurosawa is the best mode to have. But I really thought the Watanabe mode was the coolest. Although I'd rather experience the regular one first and then go into different modes. Or hopefully you can just experiment and play around with every mode whenever you want. I hope it's not oh, you can only do this in the beginning and you can't change it. But I don't think I'm sure you're going to be able to change it whenever you want. So I thought all 3 modes were really cool. So what did you think? What's your favorite? And are you into any of these?
I really like the lo-fi one. I love Samurai Champloo. So it's so cool that they got to do a collab with them. I think that's awesome. And really speaks to how much more effort they're putting into this one. Not that they didn't put a lot of effort into the first one, but remember, I believe Kurosawa mode was a free DLC update eventually, and even then it had some issues, and that had to get fixed. I'm again 5 years ago and the pandemic, so vaguely remembering here. But to get that from the start was incredible. And yeah, the Watanabe mode is just awesome. Like it's just such a cool idea. I wonder if you can change it. I presume you can change it on the fly, but similar to Seb, this is kind of all a waste to me because I'm not going to play any of these modes, or at least I'm not going to play them unless I play through the story mode a second time.
Yeah.
But I almost never do that, especially now for an open world game. Like I love the Horizon games. I've never replayed those games. Like I never would. Like they take a while. And even if they were like, here's an Aloy mode or whatever, or like, they would have to offer something incredibly different to justify it, like the perspective of another character who has different weapons, like Resident Evil does, right? Different characters, different weapons. Yeah. It would have to be something like that. Just like changing the filter and adding Japanese and getting close up with the blood. Like that's cool stuff. And I'm sure that'll appeal to some people. But to me, similar to Seb, I'll just play it normal. I do want to add too, a lot of the customization is really cool. I remember there were a lot of cool outfits for Jin in the first one. So I presume Atsu will have a lot of really cool outfits and little things that she can put.
Well, they showed it in the state of play.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. The charms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The look of your armor looks really cool.
Yeah, the armor sets in the first game were really awesome. I even like the references. Like they had like a Sly Cooper outfit.
Yes.
That was cool. Yes.
And then last thing I want to mention is the shamisen. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. But the music sounds fucking awesome. Shamisens are super cool. And I'm really glad that they're using a lot of traditional Eastern music mixed in with some Western sensibilities, because obviously Sucker Punch is not a Asian studio.
Yeah. It's an American studio. But like, obviously, I think it helps to have Sony overhead, right? Because it's a Japanese company,
right?
To be authentic, and I think they really appreciate the first game. I remember the first game getting a lot of praise from Japan for like being like authentic. All right, and then the last thing that was shown in the state of play was the special editions. Obviously, there's a PS5 themed and a controller themed with the game, and it's really pretty. Not something I would buy, of course. I'm a PC gamer, but very pretty, and I would consider it if I didn't have a PS5, because like I really like the white with the gold. It looks really nice. But overall, there's two versions. There's a white one with gold and a white one with black. I personally like the gold one, but I like both. I'm be fine with either one. So overall, it looks like it's gonna be a great game. It looks like a sequel. It doesn't look like it does anything super drastically different than the first game. It doesn't need to. It's a sequel. So it looks like it plays relatively the same way. But it's been 5 years, and first game was awesome. So there's no reason why this game won't be awesome. This is probably a guaranteed top 10 game of the year, I would think. Maybe a possible game of the year nominee, I would assume. And it looks great. What can I say? Now, like I said, I still got to decide if I want to wait for the PC version or not, but I probably just get it day one, because it's a long wait. Like Death Stranding, I can wait because I know it's going to come out like 8 months, probably a year. But this game is probably going to take like 2 years, and then 2027 just feels like an eternity away. So I probably will just get it in October. But and Dory, I'm assuming you're day one, obviously. So
I'm day one. I'm day -1. Yeah, I'm really excited. There's also going to be a photo mode, so for you sickos out there, I have one person in particular in mind. The photo mode's going to be there for you, so that'll be great. I'll probably take a lot of photos, or at least a few here and there. I'm not super into that, but I mean, with a game that beautiful, you got to capture it at least a couple times. But this looks amazing. I'm day one. I would almost consider pre-ordering it, or not pre-ordering it, but like if there was like pay extra to get an early release, I wouldn't do it, but I would strongly consider it, just because of how much I loved Ghost of Tsushima and how excited I am for Ghost of Yotei.
All right, let's move on to our next topic, which is Stellar Blade on PC. All right, so Stellar Blade is a game that came out last year. It got a lot of praise, one of the best soundtracks and things like that. I didn't play it because I waited for the PC version, and I knew it was coming out in June, and then I finally got to play it, and it ended up being a hugely successful on Steam. Like it was like #1 for quite a while, and I had a blast playing it overall. Like it was a really fun game. The graphics were great, the soundtrack was great, and I had problems with it, which we'll talk about, and I'll go into detail with my positives. But overall, I really had a good time with it. But it's definitely has its flaws, and it's not one of the best PlayStation game. It's like in the second tier. It's not on the God of War level. It's not like a masterpiece or anything by any means, but it's a very good game. So let's start with my positives. So my positives, first of all, is the gameplay is really fun. It's focused on dodging, parrying, and countering, and it plays like a Souls game. It's an extent. It's like a Souls light. The best way I can describe it. It's kind of like that Jedi Fallen Order kind of gameplay, but a little harder. It's somewhere in like it's difficult to medium. It's like medium to difficult overall. It can be quite punishing at times. Like especially the boss fights in certain levels. Like your reflexes definitely get challenged, and the game kind of encourages you because you can respec all the time your skills and stuff to like, experiment with whatever works for you and just different weapons and things like that. It's rewarding. I think the gameplay overall is very rewarding, like a Souls game. You feel like you accomplished something when you finally beat the boss or the enemies or whatever. I thought the gameplay was really fun. The second best thing as well is the visuals. This game is gorgeous. Like this is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen. In terms of like the character models, the effects, the environments, everything about this game is high quality. It is one of the most cinematic, pretty games I've ever seen. Like this is the definition of a cinematic game. Like every environment, the direction, everything in the background was just gorgeous. Like I'm playing this on PC and on a 4080 ultra settings on everything, and this game was just absolutely incredible in terms of the visuals. Like it looked mind-blowing. Like this is like in my top 10 of most pretty games I've ever played for sure. And the PC version has an amazing port, like the 4K textures, the DLSS, the FSR, the ultra wide support, the unlimited frame rate, the great optimization. This game was practically perfect on PC. Like I had zero issues, no crashes, no bugs, no frame rate drops. It was flawless. It was perfect. This is one of the best PC ports ever. This is by far Sony's best PC port. Like it's not even close. Like Sony's had issues with their PC games, not this one. This one was practically perfect. All right. This also I talked about the frame rate. The load times are really good. Ran really well. I think people are able to play this game on even a lower setting computers, and it ran fairly well. This is one of the best PC ports. Like if you're on the fence about that, this game is perfect for that. The replay value, there's new game plus, there's collectible outfits, and there's optional challenges. I don't know if it's worth going through New Game Plus or not. It's up to you. But there are different endings, so there is replayability in this game. And then obviously the soundtrack, as I mentioned, is amazing. It's one of the best soundtracks of the year last year, and the sound design is great. Like play this game with headphones. It's fantastic. And overall with the storyline, I thought the foundation was really good. Like they really set a good foundation here. I know the sequel's coming out, and I think there's stuff to build on. Like this is a really good start. I mean, it has its flaws, which I'll talk about, but overall, it has a good foundation to build on for a sequel. Like if they fix the problems that I'm going to mention next, I think the sequel can be even better and one of the best games of the year. In terms of the positives, Dory, what do you agree with or disagree with? Would you say?
Sure. I totally agree with you that the combat's super fun. The beta and burst attacks are really cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that it's more of a hack and slash than a Souls game. I remember that being a big topic of discussion at first, whether it was Souls or how hard it was. But it's not easy either, and you'll talk about that.
It's somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it personally. I agree with you that it's very, very pretty game.
Yeah.
The character models look great. I think there's very particular reasons for that, but they look great. All the animations look crisp. They look fluid. They're responsive.
Yeah.
I never really thought. I don't remember ever thinking to myself, "Oh, that parry definitely hit," or "That block definitely went off," or whatever. Right? Generally speaking, I was pretty happy.
Yeah.
I haven't played the PC port, so I can't comment on that. I didn't replay it, but now that there's new bosses and there's some collectibles that you can do, and you can play it all over again with all of your stuff, classic New Game Plus, with all of your skills and beta bursts and all that stuff. There's decent replay value, I would say. And of course, I agree on the amazing soundtrack. I mean, I've been screaming that from the rooftops ever since I played it. This soundtrack is incredible. It is the best part of the game to me. Easy. I don't even think there's much of a debate about this. The combat's very fun, but the soundtrack is consistently very good. There are some incredible bangers in there. I'm not saying every song is like a 5 out of 5, but there's a couple songs on there that I actually went out of my way to listen to, and I almost never do that. The story, I gotta be real, this is the only positive I probably disagree with. I mean,
well,
I don't know. Post-apocalypse is probably a good foundation to build from. I just didn't care about the story like at all. Like it just did nothing for me at all. But yeah,
I know I have issues with the story. I don't like love the story. I think there I see what the story was about and what it's going for, and I can see a foundation you can build on from that. But people made a big deal about this game being like sexualized and things like that. Like outside her outfits that she wears, this game wasn't really sexual. Like it wasn't she wasn't doing Bayonetta like poses or anything like that. They weren't like trying to make her a sexual icon or anything. Like she was relatively a very straightforward character. She's always focused on her mission. Everything about her was like, I don't want to wait. Let's get this done now. Like that was the entire Eve's character. The entire game was literally, I don't have time for this. Let's get this done. And she was always focused on her mission. She wasn't like doing sexy poses, and she was a very straightforward, very straight character in terms of like she was just like, I'm focused on my mission, and everybody get out of my way. Like there was never a time where we're flirting or we're having fun.
It goes back to that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Okay, it goes back to that, that old Doom meme, right? You control the buttons that you press, right? There's definitely ways to make this game very sexual.
Yeah.
There are certain outfits and camera manipulations that you can use.
That you can do. Yeah.
I know because I personally use the camera. I wasn't intentionally trying to do that, but I was like moving around because I was like, okay, how much are they allowing here? They allow a lot, is how I'm going to put it.
Yeah.
So the game is as sexual as you want it to be. Yeah. And I feel like that's perfectly fine. There was a lot of uproar about it at the time, but I think they struck a nice balance, generally speaking. If you want to give her sexy outfits, that's cool. I generally gave her badass outfits that still were kind of like attractive, right? That were still like emphasizing. But in general, yeah, I mean, it's as I want it to be. Don't go on Nexus mods. I mean, just you control the buttons you press. Don't go on Nexus mods. That's all I can say, man. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, like you're right. The game, the player can make her more sexual, but the character, the Eve, the character herself was not sexual at all.
Right.
Like Bayonetta goes out of her way to do sexy poses and crazy stuff, but like not her. Like, Eve is very. She's like an android, and she's focused on her mission.
Right. She's focused on her mission. She cares about her teammates, and she cares about saving the world, and that's fucking it. Like, there's not a lot to her character. She's not trying to romance some guy or some girl. She's doing her own thing. And it's like, if you want to put her in like one of those like really cool like jackets or something, you never even see her boobs at all. So it's like, who cares? I don't know. It's all optional.
Right. So I thought that was, after playing it, I thought the whole thing was kind of overblown overall. Like,
right.
But overall, I had a lot of positives. It's a really good game in terms of all these things, and I'll give my score at the end. Okay, let's get into the negatives. So the storyline was a weak part of the game, unfortunately, and it hurts this game because it's a very cinematic, narrative-focused game, and the story is the main focus of everything. So like, it has a whole storyline about androids and mutated people and they're humanity's extinct. There's a post-apocalyptic Earth in the future, and there's twists at the end. I won't spoil, but I was starting to suspect it. It was kind of predictable. Especially the person who actually ends up being, well, he's not only a bad guy, but the person who ends up doing something at the end was kind of like obvious. So the storyline was just not clicking overall. Like, it wasn't horrendous. It was just kind of meh to me. It was just kind of boring. Like, it could have been a lot cooler. Like, I was really, like, this game reminds me a lot of Nier Automata, and I'm really invested in the story in that game. But in this game, I'm just like, whatever. It's just not clicking with me. So the story was one of the weakest parts of the game, in my opinion. There was a foundation there that they could do something really cool with, because it does end on a cool cliffhanger, depending on what ending you got, even with the best ending. And like there's something to build on. It's just, you got to make the characters more interesting, and you got to make the world more interesting. I thought the characters' relationship and chemistry were pretty good, but there was just not enough development for me to really get into the characters. There's just something lacking, and I think it's because the level design in this game is very focused on like get to point A to point B all the time. It's very linear. There's a lot of walking through hallways, like linear subway stations and construction sites. Like, this game is very like focused on just going from point A to point B all the time. And I thought a lot of the levels in this game were very repetitive in terms of like the visuals. Like, it was the same thing over and over and over and over again. Like, you had a big wasteland, of course, and then you go like inside like a base or a tunnel or whatever you want to call it, and then it was literally just like stairs. There's a subway station, long tunnels. It was the same like level design over and over again. Or you're like moving construction pieces to cross the bridge or something. It was just repetitive. So I thought the levels design in this game was very repetitive, and there could have been more interesting stuff. Like the visuals in terms of like when you actually see like the background was incredible, but the overall levels in this game were very repetitive. The gameplay was really good, but it took a while to get going. In the beginning, when you don't have a lot of skills, it was kind of basic. It didn't really grab me. And I was a little worried about the beginning of the game, because like the beginning of the game, you're like in this foresty city area, and it was just very like going straight up, left, down, right kind of thing. And it was like, is this gonna get boring after a while? And the gameplay was just not clicking like as well as it did later on for me. So that was an issue as well. And then, but my biggest issue more than anything in this game was the difficulty spikes at the end. For whatever reason, this game was somewhere in the middle of difficulty. I won't say it's a hard game. I would say it's a medium game on the normal setting. But the last two bosses, there was a huge difficulty spike for whatever reason, and a lot of people are having issues with this as well. I don't know why they decided to just go out to just ruin the ending with a frustrating two bosses, mainly the final boss more than anything, I think. But the person before the final boss was annoying too. Was really bad. The difficulty spike was ridiculous. Like it was really hard. Like, it got like Souls level of bosses, and it took a while. Like, I felt like a Souls boss where it takes you like a couple hours to beat. All right, so Dory, what do you agree with when it comes to my cons?
I mean, first off, I want to say fuck those last two bosses, especially the last one. They were aggravating. I had to lower the difficulty to beat him. And even then, I think it took me several tries. It felt unfair. The damage was ridiculous. You basically got one shot or two shot, if I remember correctly, on normal. So I had to lower the difficulty. I had to watch guides.
Yeah.
I was pulling my hair out. It was incredibly bad. It was incredibly frustrating. There was no reason for it. They gave you no hint. They gave you no power-ups. Now, usually, if they're going to make the boss that tough, they're going to give you a big power-up. What really upsets me about this game is, like, you do all this effort, like I did, to get the true ending, and like Seb did, to also get the true ending, and that fucking outfit does nothing. It does nothing for you. It doesn't give you any powers, doesn't give you any abilities. It doesn't even look good. It doesn't even look cool. It looks stupid. It just looks like it shows off her boobs for no reason. And I'm not against sexualization inherently. Also, Eve is like in her mid-20s, so who cares? But like it's just dumb. It doesn't even look good. So like you do all this work for a sequel baiting ending with a really frustrating boss with an outfit that doesn't give you any benefits or pluses. I know most of the outfits don't give you that.
Yeah.
But
when she merges with the person, which is the ending I picked, she gets like Sephiroth wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought that would be like a really cool, like awesome, like Super Saiyan like level thing, and it wasn't. It was just like she was like the same character. Like it didn't play any different really. Like it was like
it didn't. No, I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna get like new powers, and this is gonna make the boss fight a little easier, maybe, or even a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you spend all the fucking time in Majora's Mask to get all the masks, and then give them to Majora, and then you end up getting the Fierce Deity mask, and then you just fucking kick Majora's ass. Yeah. Like I thought it'd be something like that. It didn't have to be that one-sided, right? Yeah. But give me something for all that fucking effort besides like a sequel bait.
Yeah, plus, like, it was anticlimactic. Considering the stakes of the world, the final boss being a robot, like, just one suit was just so anticlimactic. Like this game felt like the ending was going to be, like, a big god-level boss, like some over-the-top Bayonetta kind of big final battle. And it's like, oh, we're saving that for the sequel. It hurt this game a bit, I thought. Like I thought the girl boss before the robot boss would have been a better fitting final boss if they did a little more with it. I feel like the ending was rushed. I feel like they just wanted to get the game over with. Okay, everything started wrapping up really fast. Like literally, like the ending, they go back to the town and it's on fire and everything, and then it's like they go straight to the final boss area. Like there's not even like an option to like, do you want to take your time and do something else in the meantime? No, it's like it takes you straight to the final area, and like it wants to be over with. And then I
completely agree with you.
And another thing I had a problem with this game was the side quest did not interest me at all. I thought the side quests in this game were boring. They were very simple, like point A to point B side quests. Fetch this, do this. Like I was just not invested in the side characters as much. I feel like this game. Like, I feel like there's potential overall, but it's just lacking, unfortunately. So hopefully the second game learns from this, and the storyline and the side missions are better. But I just don't generally like when games make you do 100% of everything to get a true ending. I'd rather have just a complete ending. Because in this game, if you don't do all of a character's side content, you don't get the true ending. So if you even miss one quest, you don't get the final ending, and it's ridiculous. I don't like that personally. I know it has replayability, but this is not Resident Evil where you can beat the game in like 3 to 5 hours. Like I'm not playing through this game in 30 hours again just to get a different ending. Like that doesn't work for me. So I know some people that's not an issue because they only play like one or two games a year or something like that. But for me, who goes through a lot of games, I don't have the time to replay a game for 30 hours again. And Dory's never replays games, so it doesn't
almost never unless I'm trying to speed run them like RE4 or Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, like the ones that are
I
like
almost never replay games.
Ones you can speed through really fast. This game is not really. I'm sure people could speed run it. I'm not saying that, but like, it's a cinematic focus game, and it's not a game you can. There's certain games you can't speed run. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I think of like Red Dead Redemption, that's like a once in a lifetime experience. I don't know if I can play that again in terms of like, oh, I want to do another playthrough right after I beat it. You know what I mean? There's certain games you don't do that with.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how I feel about like Last of Us or Last of Us Part 2. Like to me, that's sacred. Like I would never speed. Mitch and I did do that for like a trivia thing, but that was for a trivia thing. That was like a special event. I would never grind The Last of Us Part 2. I would feel personally, and this is all personal. I'm not saying it's wrong to speedrun these games, but just personally, there are some games I would never do it. I know Kingdom Hearts 2 like the back of my fucking hand. I don't need to watch the cutscenes for the millionth time, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not a big deal to me. But like speedrunning The Last of Us or The Last of Us Part 2 as an example, I could never personally do it. It would feel fucking weird to me.
Yeah. So to wrap it up, I think this game is an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good game. I think it's definitely a must play. If you have if you have a PC and a good PC, like this game is gorgeous and you'll probably have a lot of fun with the gameplay. Don't expect anything amazing with the storyline, and the side content is not that great in my opinion. And their locations are very repetitive. But you're getting a game that has great gameplay and great visuals, awesome soundtrack, and you'll have a good time with it, I think. If you want to do mods, then I ain't judging, but you'll have a good time, I think. So it's a really good 8 out of 10. I think this game could have easily been a 9 out of 10 if they fixed these things, and that's why I'm a little more optimistic for the sequel. Maybe they learn from this, but if not, if it's the second game is another 8 out of 10, then it's still a good game. So I think it's a must play if you on PC, and I'm sure it's a must play on PS5 as well. So go play it. It's a Sony published game, so the Sony logo comes up on the PC port, like it's Sony published. So it's their game. All right, let's move on to our final topic of the podcast, which is the podcast episode rather, is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, which came out on Friday on every console and on PC, and it's on Game Pass, which I'm assuming Dory is playing it on PC Game Pass. So tell us about it, please.
Sure. So Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. I'll go through the pros and then I'll go through the cons. Overall, this is, just to kind of get this, just to get this out of the way, great game. Pretty much just as good as the first remake. There are some issues, and I feel like most of those big issues don't bother me. So that's what I really have to say overall. But we'll talk about the pros first. It's a very pretty game. The skyboxes look nice, the water looks nice, the environments look nice. Everything just looks very cool and good to just run through. And nothing looks weird and pixelated or whatever. Everything looks very well optimized. The skating to do tricks feels just about the same. It's usually pretty precise, super fun. The soundtrack is a sticking point for some folks because they don't include as many tracks from the originals like they did in the last remake, but I still think it's really great. There are a lot of really good songs. For example, I'll just list like some of them. Ace of Spades, Them Bones, Yankee and the Brave, although it's censored, so I don't like it as much. Everything Turns Gray, Hollywood Sucks, and Hollywood Baby, both songs that have Hollywood in their title, and I love both of them. Out of Here, Head, Damaged Goods, My Adidas, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Gila Monster, NYC, If You Must, and Kick Push by Lupe Fiasco, which was a very inspired choice to have as the kind of lead-off track, because it's all about skateboarding. There's a lot. The soundtrack's so good. It's a really, really nice mix, and metal, and punk, and like a couple of softer songs, but almost always like something that'll really get you in the mood to play some Tony Hawk. So I feel like all the choices were done really well. Again, we'll get to that negative a little bit later on, but I know some people, for example, the IGN review, were upset because a lot of the original songs are left out, and I'll get more specific about that later. But for now, the 2 minute time length feels appropriate to me. There goes my phone. The 2 minute time length feels appropriate to me, and I don't mind it. Retrying is very quick. It just takes seconds. You can restart a run whenever you want. So if a run isn't going your way, you can immediately restart. You can do free skate like you could do in the last game. And I believe, if I'm right about this, that there is an option to disable the 2 minute timer and just put like a 60-minute timer. I know some people are going to be like, well, it's still a timer. But I mean, like, if you need more than 60 minutes to explore one of these levels, I don't know what to tell you. I maybe spent 30 minutes total getting all of the goals in... that's another important point. I have not played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4, technically. I'm going in order. So I am almost done with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I have not even started 4 yet, because they have a bunch of levels on one and then a bunch of levels on another. They actually have 9 on each. So I have done 8 out of the 9 for 3. I have not played any of the levels for 4. So I'll talk about for next week, I think. But regardless, as I was saying, you can just get rid of the time limit if I'm right, if I'm remembering correctly. So it's not a big deal to me. The challenges feel appropriately tough for the most part. There's some that are tedious, and I'll talk about them. But generally speaking, if I'm going for one of these challenges, like getting skate, the letters SKATE, or I'm trying to go for a 6 score, or if I'm trying to go for a secret tape, usually these feel appropriately tough and very satisfying once you actually get them. So I definitely had lots of out loud cheering moments when I finally got a challenge completed or a goal or whatever you want to call it. I do think the secret characters are cool. There's Michelangelo. There's Doom Guy. There's a character from Doom Guy, and there's Bam, of course. I'll talk more about it in a second, but the secret characters largely don't do anything for me. I think they're kind of underwhelming, but we'll talk about it. The tutorial was good. A good way to bring me back in and remind me how to play. Reverts and manuals are especially really, really helpful to me in my run because that's how I win the competitions. I won all the competitions first try just by abusing manuals and by doing a bunch of combos in a row. Or if I had to do it again to get another 100,000 points, I would just grind and then do a manual, and then I think it counts as a different combo. But regardless, abuse those manuals if you're having trouble. There's also some mods that I appreciate they put in there, some gameplay options, and generally, there are ways to make this game easier if you need it. There's also cool, I don't think I'll use them, but there's cool little FX things you can unlock from the secret store that will basically give you flames coming out of your skateboard or little sparkles and details and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I haven't used it myself, but I have seen it on some of the trailers and some of the videos that I've watched, and it looks neat. Let's see what else. The same wacky style of humor is still here. So, for example, in the Los Angeles level, you can cause an earthquake. You can unstick somebody who has their tongue stuck to a lamppost in Canada. There's, you can push a foreman in the water. There's a bunch of really cool, goofy stuff that you can do. I know they did remove some goals that either haven't aged well or they just didn't feel like putting it in. And again, that's going to bother some longtime fans. But again, it doesn't really matter to me. I barely remember playing these games as a kid, so I don't really care. Anything you want to comment on for my pros, Seb, or do you want me to move on to my cons?
It looks. I mean, how much different does it play with the first game, or is that a con?
Yeah, this could have been DLC. This could have been DLC for the first 2 games, and I don't mean that negatively necessarily, but this could have been DLC for the first 2 games, and I would have thought that was fine. They play pretty much the same. I want to say that there is a slight difference in terms of them trying to encourage more about transfers, going from one half pipe to another and going in and out of gaps and stuff like that. I feel like there's a slight difference there in terms of how much they're encouraging you to explore the space a little differently.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's pretty much a copy paste. There's not a lot of gameplay here that I think is very different.
Now, do you remember what are the characters, the side characters you can get? What are the alternatives? I know Doom Guy is one of them.
So there's, Doom Guy, like I said. There's another character from Doom, one of the enemies. I don't remember what they're called. There's Bam Margera.
Yeah.
There is another skater whose name I don't remember, and there's Michelangelo. Besides Michelangelo, I don't really care. All respect to Bam, but he does nothing for me, and I don't even know who the other skater is supposed to be. So if it was like Riley Hawk, I would get it.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah.
Is it young Bam or is it middle age?
I believe it's modern, but I could be wrong. It could be him. No, it's probably him as a younger guy. Actually, come to think of it.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I honestly don't know enough about Bam to really know one way or the other.
Gotcha. I think you hit on all the what I would expect, right? The skateboarding game to be. So let's get into the cons now.
Sure. So most of my cons are pretty minor. The 2 big ones that people are going to be upset about is the campaign limits. You can't free skate in 4 like you could in the original. I don't care. I know I keep saying that, but I just don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't bother me. I've adapted to the 2-minute time limit from the first 2 games. So to me, I kind of like that it's not abruptly, oh, now you can just free skate. Like it'd be like, well, then why can't I do that in number 3? Like why couldn't we do that in 1 and 2? So I don't know. Maybe Activision was lazy. Maybe they didn't want to. Maybe it was too much work. I don't know. And again, I don't care. Some people are very upset about this. It doesn't bother me. And I'm not saying that it's invalid to be upset about that. You are totally free to not like that. But again, there are options to adjust the timer, make it much longer. You can also do free skate. But I don't think there's any goals if you free skate, right? But you can still free skate around the areas. I think one of the other things that people are upset about is that some of the character has been taken out of the game. You can't talk to certain people. There are certain characters that aren't in there. Like I think there's like a magical homeless bum or something like that in the 4th game. But some of this stuff is like cultural, right? There was a couple jokes in the first game that they kept in from the originals that I didn't think really landed and looked good anymore, right? Like dunking on homeless people is like, what are we doing, right? So skating is supposed to be about like rebellion and like lifting up the marginalized and like it's supposed to be punk, right? So I never got that kind of sense of humor about making fun of homeless people. But regardless, there's none of that I've seen here. There's some dialogue here that I think is kind of cringy. There's like a streamer in Los Angeles. He's like, "Whoa, that was so cool, wasn't it, chat?" And I was like, no, that's terrible. Get that out of my Tony Hawk. I know people do talk like that, but it's just not. It's just kind of. But whatever. I will say in general, the character models don't look good. I already thought they kind of looked weird in the first 2, but here they just look weird. People just look kind of plasticky and fake, which is ironic in a skating game. But they just look kind of off. Kind of like it reminds me of when they did Destroy All Humans remake, and I said that all the character models looked very kind of plasticky, very shiny. It's not a big deal. I mean, again, the main point is the skating, not how the people look, but it's noticeable. Every time I'm looking at character models, I'm like, this looks weird. Why does it look like this? But yeah, some people were upset because in the 4th game, I lost track of this earlier, but to get back on topic, they took out some of the goals that you were supposed to get by free skating around and getting them from like prominent pro skaters. Again, it does nothing for me personally. I don't care about that. It just means less cringy dialogue in my Tony Hawk. So I think it's a positive. And I think skating around trying to look for particular skaters sounds kind of tedious to me, doing it over 9 levels. So I don't think we're missing out on much, but also, it's valid to feel like that takes some of the character away because you don't have as much dialogue, and obviously pro skaters could be more involved, yada, yada. I mean, it's really just Tony Hawk. I think he's the only one who really talks at length in this game, right? But it's his game, so. The character customization, it's kind of lacking. Again, a minor point, but I made my character and I would want to say about 3 minutes. I usually agonize over the shit, really try to make it look like me, but I just took a rough approximation. I was like, good enough, and gave myself a rainbow shirt and an anarchy jeans, and I was off to the races, right? So I don't know. You could just play as one of the pro skaters and upgrade their stats through the campaign, but I'd rather play myself and just play my own character. I have no real love for any of these pro skaters. I don't have any hate either, but I don't know pro skating, right? I don't follow it. I never followed it. Even when I was a kid, I never followed it. So I don't know any of these people. I think vaguely I've heard of some of them. Obviously, I know Tony Hawk and I know his son, Riley Hawk. And I've heard of some of the people in the game, but I don't have any personal ties to them, right? In terms of like watching them as a kid or whatever, right? Let's see. I already talked about the secret characters to me. Pretty lackluster lineup, I gotta be real. You just buy them from the store. It's not particular tricks. You don't get it by finding them out in the world and getting a secret. It's just like, get enough money, buy them from the store, now you can use them. I mean, it's very streamlined, and I do appreciate that, but it's also kind of underwhelming, and they don't feel very secret, because the store is like, just right there, and then there they are. So I don't know. It's kind of underwhelming, but again, this is a nitpick. My biggest problem with the game is sorry. Last thing about secret characters, Doomslayer and the other character from Doom, who again I can't remember their name. They're just an enemy type. It is cool that you can play as them, but you need to play the deluxe edition or some bullshit. Remember, this is an Activision game, so money. But it's like $18 through Game Pass to fucking get Doomslayer and the other character. Fuck that. I like Doom, but I'm not paying $18 to play with Doomslayer on a skateboard. It's a fun concept, but I don't care that much.
So you
last thing.
No, so
go ahead.
So you can't unlock them in the game. You have to buy them.
I believe so. I have not been able to unlock them. Every time I go to the secret store section, I hover over them and it just says like you have to buy the deluxe edition too.
That's lame. That's so lame.
Yeah, that is very lame. I even said that in the notes. Lame.
Yeah.
So my biggest problem is that some of the challenges are really fucking annoying. And I mean, this could just be a me thing, but I'll name some of them. Grinding the molten bucket at the foundry was fucking tedious and annoying. I could not figure out how to do it for a very long time. I actually had to use the secret tape way to get onto the molten bucket, and even that took me several tries, and it's just for one collectible. So, just very annoying. The collecting skate in Canada was frustrating. There is the secret tape as well, actually. But basically, there is a lip part of a ramp. And if you don't go far enough into it, you will just clip it. And you will fall down and you will die. Well, not die, but you know what I mean. You'll respawn. Really fucking annoying. It really pissed me off because I'm making contact with it. Why doesn't this part of it have collision? Very minor nitpick, but for that particular challenge of getting the secret tape and for skate, because there was I couldn't find what the fucking K was, but it turned out it was on top of the snow shed. I also think impressing the 5 skaters was a little tedious, but not a big deal. Restoring the power dish in Suburbia, I thought that was fucking annoying. You have to get on like 4 different power lines and ride them. But the main thing in Tony Hawk that's always been annoying to me and will always be annoying to me is the platforming. Any trick or challenge or goal that requires some level of platforming is usually annoying. Just because it's not precise, you usually have to stop it dead in your tracks. And when you're trying to skateboard, nobody wants to just stop, right? Nobody wants to I gotta stop and I gotta angle this just perfectly so I can land this. And I know that's part of skateboarding, but when you're playing a video game, it's different, right? I don't want to be doing that. So it's just annoying. The power dish took me several attempts and was very frustrating. Airwalking over an escalator in general at the airport. Generally speaking, I find the going from pipe to pipe transfer to be very tricky and annoying. This one was probably the worst one. And then just getting the 6 score in LA was a nightmare. I don't really know I'm sure I was about to look. Actually, I did look it up. I looked up a guide and I looked up how to get it and stuff like that, but IGN didn't have it. And I couldn't really find it in my short search of Google. So I just kept doing it. Eventually I got it. I was very happy, of course. But the topography of Los Angeles feels very uneven. Probably all those earthquakes. But it was just very annoying because there's all these little things in the way. There's a stoplight, or there's a little bump, or there's this, or there's a car. So there's all these things to get in the fucking way of you trying to pull off this big combo so you can get 300,000 points. So at the beginning of the game, it's easy. You just do a manual and you knock off 3 or 4 of these score-related missions, goals, whatever, very quickly. But when you get to those later missions, like Los Angeles, it becomes kind of nightmarish, especially when you have a lot of stuff in your way. But like I said, all that's pretty minor. Seb, did you have any comments on the cons?
Not specifically, because I haven't played it yet, so I couldn't tell you the specific stuff. But first of all, the DLC stuff is really stupid. Typical Activision charging you for something that you should be able to unlock in the game. That's really stupid. The soundtrack, I don't really care about the soundtrack in terms of some songs missing. I'm not I love the soundtracks of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games, but I'm not like, oh my god, they don't have this one song. This whole game sucks. Like people are like really pissed. And it's like, is there? It's not that serious. I think it's a minor thing, like you said. I wouldn't even notice, to be honest with you, if there was like one song missing, because it just plays. The songs just play in the menu, and then you go to the mode that you're gonna play on. And then you play in the game, right? The songs play when you're skating and stuff, but I don't remember 4 that much to have a comment on Pro Skater 4. I think the first 3 is what I really remember as a kid, right? I don't remember 4 as much. I feel like I either skipped 4 or I just didn't play it, or I went right to Underground or whatever. Like I just don't remember 4 that much. Maybe I did play it. I
don't either.
I just don't remember. But
I played.
Yeah.
I think I played 2 and 3, but I couldn't tell you for sure. I know for a fact I played the trilogy or played Tony Hawk when I was younger, but I couldn't for the life of you
I don't remember
tell
4.
you if it was 1, 2, or 3. I have no idea. Pretty sure I skipped 4. I know for a fact I played Underground, but other than that, it's all a blur to me. I just remember having good nostalgic feelings towards it.
Yeah. In terms of the challenges and stuff, like I played the first one, obviously the first and second one remaster, and they were annoying there too. Like I some of the collectibles they put in weird spots, and it's frustrating. I have to look things up, and that's always like the one downside I have with Tony Hawk games is like some of the challenges are really ridiculous, and sometimes they're just not fun. They're frustrating.
Right.
And this game's gonna have more of the same. I mean. The thing is this is kind of a hard game to like really give pros and cons to overall in terms of like, because like it's minor complaints, right? But it's like a sports game, and it's like a very simple like skate and get challenges and stuff. It's like it's not like a story game where you're judging the gameplay and the story. It's it's just like you're skating and you're doing challenges and finding collectibles. Like that's the whole game, right? So it's. You know what I mean? It's just like it's like minor stuff that adds up, right? Overall for you, and you
yeah.
And your overall score is a what?
Yeah. So it's a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10 kind of situation. It's just as good as the first one was.
Yeah.
I'm a little bummed that they haven't made improvements, but I know they're just remakes, right? And
yeah,
I'm just happy we have them at all. I'm happy they're great experiences. I'm not a Tony Hawk diehard at all. Think he's a great guy. Think he made $1 billion off this series. If you've read any of the interviews with him, this is what made him famous, basically. Well, not this. I think hitting the 900 probably made him famous as well. But regardless, I'm very happy that we have this series. I don't need it to be a 9 out of 10. There's some games, I don't need this to be a 9 out of 10. I definitely don't need this to be a 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah.
I know some people really want this to be a return to form, and we're going to get another Tony Hawk. But I don't really care. I'm just glad that we have these 4 back, and that they're this good, and that it's on Game Pass. I didn't have to pay $60 this time, so that's great. I think the last one I played was on PS5 or 4. I think 4. And I had a blast, and I think I paid like $50, $60 for it. I don't think it was on Game Pass.
Yeah.
There was. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna say. Apparently, Iron Galaxy, the people behind the game, made some original maps, and the reception is generally positive. So maybe they'll do. And I apologize if again the studio wrong. I believe it's Iron Galaxy. But they did some original maps.
That's right.
People generally, yes, that's right. Good. I see the fucking opening titles enough to fucking remember it. Hopefully, but yeah, people generally like it. So hopefully they make their own, kind of like It's About Time for Crash Bandicoot or the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I would love for Tony Hawk to get a new spin. Pun not intended, but now it is intended. So, yeah, that would be awesome if Iron Galaxy could come out with a new one. I think a different studio had the 1 and 2, and then they wanted to do 3 and 4, but Activision was like, no way, that'll make money. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
And then people started really pushing for it, and they were like, okay, fine, but no Bam Margera, no Tony Hawk's like, well, fuck you, then you can't do it. And then they're like, okay, fine, whatever, but it still won't make any money, and I'm sure it's selling very well. So Yeah, I hope that they make another one just like they did for Crash and Spyro. We'll see. If they do, I'm probably day one. But like I said, I haven't played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 yet. I'll give like a little mini impression thing about that if anything is new. But I seriously doubt it. I mean, like you said, it's a sports game. It's pretty simple. If pretty much any of my criticisms or positives are probably going to apply to Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. I can't imagine that they changed it that drastically from the original or from how 3 plays in the remake, right? So yeah, it's a great game. Go play it. If you like the first 2, go play it on Game Pass, or if you really want to own it, buy it on Steam. Play with a gamepad. I mean, even the game tells you that. Don't play with a keyboard and mouse and stuff like that. I mean, you can if you really want to, but I'd recommend a gamepad for best experience. That's what I'm doing.
So it's true that you have to pay extra money to get more songs. That's lame.
Wait, what?
You get more songs if you pay them for the digital deluxe edition. There's more songs included with that.
I did not know about that.
Yeah, they left
that
it
would have
out.
been in my negatives.
Yeah, they left it out
that
so you can buy it.
That fills me with incandescent rage. Fuck Activision. Did I mention that Activision fucking sucks? Fuck Activision.
I'm on Steam and I'm looking at the digital deluxe edition, which is like right on the homepage, and it says you get 2 characters, the Doom and the Revenant, like the demon.
Revenant, that's what they're called. Thank you.
And then you get the skateboard decks and stuff, and it says additional songs included with the in-game soundtrack. So you have to pay $20 extra to get more songs.
Yes, additional songs. Yep, I'm seeing that on Game Pass as well. The Doomslayer and Revenant playable skaters each include 2 secret moves. There you go. For $18 fucking dollars. 2 unique outfits for Doomslayer and I'm not Unmaker hoverboard skate deck. And then additional songs included with the in-game. I'm trying to highlight it, but it's not working. Included with the in-game soundtrack. Exclusive themed creative skater items. Oh, last thing I want to mention. This is incredibly scummy, by the way. Fuck Activision again. I haven't played multiplayer. I'm not going to play multiplayer. I don't care about multiplayer. I haven't done free skate, and I'm not going to do Create a Park either. I don't care about any of those modes. I just play the single player. I get the goals, and then I'm done with the game. So if you're looking for impressions on multiplayer or Create a Park or anything like that, not going to find it here. I don't care.
Now, this is where Activision thinks they're smart and they're trying to be sneaky with this, is that it's $50 game. Like, standard price, right? The digital deluxe edition is $70. $70 is the standard day one purchase, cost of games. So they think, oh, it's only $50. If I just pay $20 more for like a standard $70 game, like because games are $70, I'll get the digital deluxe. They think there's like people are gonna spend $20 to get extra content like that. Like, we see what you're doing, Activision. It got mixed reviews on Steam. People are it says mixed on Steam. It seems like the reaction is more negative on 4, so maybe you'll have more of a negative experience on 4. I don't know.
They did take out some of the stages that I know people really like, and they put in some of their own. I'm going to just say the line. I don't care. I predict that I will not care. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'll be like, oh my God, I can't check out Chicago. And they neutered this stage and they did this and that.
So that's the case. Like your review will be somewhere of a mix between today's and next week's episode and somewhere.
I'll talk about 4 next week if we have time. And it'll be a lot shorter than this. A lot shorter. I'll just say if the game stays on the course that it has, and I don't really think there's any reason it wouldn't. Unless there's a stage I absolutely hate. I like Los Angeles kind of annoyed me at points, but I didn't hate it. It was just to get the 6 score, and it was just because the 6 score was 300,000, which is just I just thought that was egregious, a little too much.
Now,
like I could easily get 200,000, but 300,000 was tough.
Now, just to start wrapping it up now. Would you recommend this game for $50? I know $70 is a no, but would you say it's a $50 game? I mean, you've been it with Game Pass, but
I think that's fair. I mean, how I would think about it is $25 for 3 and $25 for 4. I think that's fair. I've already gotten about. Let me go back. Sorry, one sec. I've already gotten about 8 hours out of and I know money to time and blah blah blah. It's not equal. But like for me personally, I've gotten about 8 hours out of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. I'll probably get similar out of 4. So that's almost 20 hours, but over 15 hours for about a $50 game.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think it could be cheaper than that. I'm not saying it couldn't be. I could see 40, and I think that's a great deal. I think 50 is okay.
Yeah, I think $50 is probably fine. I don't see a problem with that. My last question for you was, you already answered it. My last question for you was going to be like, how much time can you realistically get out of this game? Like if you're just doing single player stuff, and you said you did 8 hours of the third game and about 8 hours of the fourth game, so 20 hours sounds a good price for a $50 sports game, I think. Unless you really get into multiplayer, you want to put 50 plus hours. I've always liked skateboarding. I've never been a huge skateboarding fan. I never grew up skateboarding. I wasn't in the skating culture. I liked some of the outfits they wore, and I grew up with the Tony Hawk games. But I was more of a bike rider and stuff like that. So I was not really into like who's the newest skater. Like, I mean, I've never gotten that kind of thing. But I'm interested in this. I'm just not sure if I'm day one or not. I'm gonna think about it. I'll look around for Steam keys and stuff like that. I'm sure it's cheaper on.
I think I'm looking at some of those reviews right now. I think they're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But that's me. I don't have some of the love that some people have. Again, I don't think it's invalid to have these feelings. I just think they're over the top, and I think it's coming from the real core hardcore audience that have a super good memory for what they played when they were kids and really wanted to be true to that. I don't know. I also think there's some reasons why. What's that?
I wouldn't even know. I don't remember specifics about those games. I mean, I know like, oh, they're skating, and I remember like a Spider-Man being in like the PS1 one. I don't know. I forget which one it was. Like I remember things like that. I just don't remember like oh my god, they took this mode out. I wouldn't even think about it, to be honest with you. I don't have that kind of love for these games like on that level. Like if it was a Resident Evil game and then they took out something, then yeah, I would know. But so the reviews don't. If the reviews are all like people mad about nostalgia and things like that, I wouldn't even know. Like that's not an issue for me.
Yeah, I would caution people to give this a shot. Steam has a very fair refund policy of like I think it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
I think you can more than figure out if you want to play this game after an hour or so.
Yeah,
and if it's for you or not. But we've been yapping for about 30 minutes, so I don't have much else to say. It's an 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 experience. It's a great game. Nowhere near my game of the year. Probably won't. I don't even know if it'll be in my top 10 by the end of the year, but it's a great game and you should go check it out if you liked the first two.
Absolutely. All right. So that concludes our show. Next week, we're going to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza. Comes out this week. And Dory can talk about Pro Skater 4. And we'll figure out what the news are going to be. You never know. It's July. Video game news slows down a bit in July. Typically, we had June was crazy, and then they kind of slow down. And then August gets crazy again with all the releases. So we have plenty to talk about, but the next couple episodes are probably going to be a little on the shorter side. Not that this episode was like anything shorter than normal. It was an hour and like 20 minutes. So, yeah, we'll see you guys next week. And peace, everybody. Enjoy the summer.
Bye, everybody. Rock on. Totally. Other 90s lingo. Insert here.